Welcome back everyone. Today we're in the Giants editor and I'm Joel, and as you can see, working on the Joel's Peaceful Valley map, the main farm area. We're going to hopefully be working on the silo here. This one is the Una Farm 400. Um, we did the water tank on the last episode. I have one sitting over there, but I don't think I like it. I don't know if I want to stick it there. Uh, I'm not sure. I'm going to probably put it right here. But for now, what we're going to do is show how to get this in. And basically what you can do is just go to the main game and import it in here. Um, so you're going to go File, Import. You're going to go to D drive if that's where your game is installed. If not, if yours is on C drive, it might be under Program Files 86, Steam, Steam Apps, Common. Then say here's Farm and Sim 19, yours might be 22 under there, data, and so on. Okay, I don't know where your game is installed. It could be a lot of different places. So hopefully that helped a little. If not, I'm sorry. Mine's on D Drive, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, Farm Sim 22, data, and in this case, let me think. I believe it's in Placeables, Una, Pharma, Pharma, and then 400. Open it. Click on the i3D and click Open. I'm not going to click Open, but that brings the i3D in. That's what this is. So you click Open, it'll bring it in. I'm going to click Cancel because it is in. See it right there? So that's all it's going to do is bring it in like that. Okay? And you're good to go there. So make sure you already situated your ground. You need a good flat spot here, pretty much, to do this. And I may have to adjust my ground a little, maybe. I think that's all flat. We'll see. Anyway, so this is probably where I'm going to put it. The road is going to obviously be painted differently. That's still just from a previous thing. That don't mean it's staying there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is there's several different things that you got to deal with. I'm going to open this up real quick. Don't hold me to this, but open up the silo one. And from my understanding, this here will show up in game, okay, if you don't put it as invisible. So if I'm wrong, I mean, I know it's going to show up in game if you don't make it invisible, but I don't know if that's the exact one you click on, but basically you click on this. This one is actually showing both of these, and you can make it invisible, or click visibility off, and it does that to it. Okay, for now I'm going to leave it on, okay, for the example. But discharge effect, click it off, and that should take that away, and it should be fine. It should still work, but that's what you do to get rid of that. Okay, now I'm gonna leave it on for now. In the meantime, you're gonna make sure this whole thing's highlighted. Put it where you want it. So hit Control B as in boy with this whole thing highlighted. The main parent group. Those are called the children right under it, and that one's the parent transform group, and or the main transform group. And put it where you want. Control B as in boy, left mouse click, wherever you want. You can adjust it however you see fit. This one can be lifted. You can see it's got more under there. On the other one, that's how they put it, but they didn't even put it where you could see this concrete here. They put it where that was even hidden. I'll take you to a picture I have of it, and you can see they didn't even show that, or at least from this picture, as far as I can tell, they barely, if anything, they didn't show it or barely showed it. Okay, so they may have even painted gravel there, but whatever the case, looks like they barely showed it because that's showing. So they barely showed it. They didn't show every bit of what they could have, and you can see how this here is up, got a, like it would hit, it wouldn't be smooth, what I'm trying to say, so they got it lower in the back, a little higher in the front. Okay, so I'm close that down. Alright, so basically you would situate it how you wanted it. Okay, you can just get it however you figure. Once you do, we're going to come back in a minute to get these numbers over here. We're going to need them in this attributes box, the translate and the rotate. But for now, we're going to go in the File Explorer, and we're going to go to here and go to D Drive, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, FS22 data, maps, maps US. We'll go down to placeables document and hit edit with Notepad++ after we right click on it. Look in here, see what they got, see if they have the silo. Yes, they do. The Pharma 400, whatever the case. They also have it as the default farm property, true, which because it's on our farm, and it is on our farm, so we need it, the main farm, so we need it, farm ID 1. When it's something's on your main farm that you're starting out with for people, then you want farm ID 1, default farm property, true. If it's not, then you don't need that line of information. Click at the end, hold it down, left mouse button, drag it over, let go. Right click, click copy. Do not cut. This is your main game. You do not want to erase it. Now we can close that so we don't erase anything. We'll minimize so I can take you back to how to get there. Go to Documents, My Games, FarmSim22, Mods for me because my map is in my Mods folder. You go to where your map is, and this is my map, and you go to yours. We're going to go to XML and then Placeables document. You go wherever your Placeables document is in your map. If yours is in a place that looks like this, and then you go Maps, Maps US, well then you'll get to a Placeables, okay? So you go where yours is, I'll go where mine is. Alright, and you don't have to have yours just like mine, okay? Wherever it is. Edit, right click on it, edit with Notepad++ after it's highlighted. And then you can see we have that we did in the last episode in there. We're going to drag over, click to the end of it, and hit enter. Okay, so we did it on these short line ones. If you're going to do it on these other ones, you need to do it. You click here, and you see these two things. You know that the bottom one is the close. You're going to click right behind that one because it has the /. That is the ending tag. Always click behind that, then hit enter, because if you hit enter here, you're breaking up that information and it will be bad. If you hit enter here and hit here and hit enter, it breaks up this line of information because all that has to stay together. And if you stick in lines of information between it, it won't work. It'll be messed up. So now we're going to click to the empty spot. We're going to right click and click paste. We're going to click at the front of that line and space it over to get it lined up if you want to. You don't have to. And I'm going to space this over to get it lined up. Just hit the space bar and then backspace if you go too far. And then in the position one, we're going to drag it over. You do not have to do that, okay? So if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Don't worry about it. Alright, so it's going to call from data placeables, Pharma 400, Pharma 400.xml. It's going to call this XML. This is the main game information. This is our main game files. So it's going to look in our main game that we have installed on our PC. It's going to look through all these folders to get to this XML file. This XML file is going to call the i3D, okay, of that silo. Okay, so that's what we're going to be putting numbers in here for, so it can say where we want it to be put at. And you can see if you have it on your main farm, you need that farm ID and the default farm property true. Okay, so now we can go ahead and jump, and we'll go ahead and get our numbers, and then we'll do our store item. Farmer 400, and then you're going to make sure it's highlighted, the whole group, the main group, the parent group. Click at the end of translate X at the end of the numbers, hit Shift Control and C as in cat, and then go to Notepad++ where you had your placeables, XML open. Click on the line of the one you put in there, in between the quotation marks of the position area. Right click on there, click paste. You're going to drag over so you can see, click in front of the R, space bar it over till you get to there. Now you're going to go back to Giants Editor, click in the rotate X box at the end of the 0, hit Shift Control C as in cat, go back to the Notepad++, click at the in between the quotation marks, and right click and click paste. Now you're going to come hit save, and now all that part's done. Alright, so now we're good there. We're going to go back to Giants Editor for a second, and you can see all that's done. Now we're going to wait. We're going to jump on and see if we need a store item. We're going to go back to the File Explorer or Manager or whatever you want to call it. And you're going to go back through to your main file, D drive, wherever yours is, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, FS22, Data, Maps, Maps US. Go down to your store items, right click and edit with Notepad++. Now you're going to look through the list and see if you can't find that information for what you just added. The Pharma 400, whatever they had it named as. So just look around, look around, look around. See if you see it. So far I don't see it. Okay, so I don't see it. So I am going to work off the assumption, that we don't need it. We don't need it because it's not a in here and it's not a custom one. So if it was a custom one and it was on our map and we made it, then I'd say put one. But we didn't make it. They didn't have one. So I'm going to go off that assumption that we don't need it. Now, let me look at the other things and see, because sometimes they put it under a different trigger name, so you got to look. So if that's the case, you would have to do that. You would have to figure out which trigger they were using for it and then do it that way. But for now, I don't see it, so I'm going to call it that we don't need it. I don't see it anywhere. Alright, so we're going to go ahead back to the Giants editor, and now you can do one of two things. You can delete it, okay, and hit save, and then move your career start point maybe over here just for the heck of it, so you'd be right where you're at in game, and hit save. Or if you have a placeholders folder, you want to put it in there so that it'll leave this right here in the Giants editor, but it'll hide it from the end game, because you don't want to have two of these in the end game. You only want to have one. So if you don't put it in the placeholders folder and hit save, or if you don't delete it and hit save, you'll have two in game because you just put one in the placeables XML, and the XML is calling, let me show it to you so you can understand it. Let me find it. Alright, we have it in here. Okay, we put it in here. It's telling it where it's at. It's telling it where to go look for it. It's saying, here, go to all these places to this XML file. So let's go see where that XML file is. Okay, so D drive, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, FS22, Data. Okay, and then in this case it's going to be, you just scroll down, see it. It's going to be under placeables, and then that word there. So we're going to go under placeables, and UNA, and then under Pharma, and then 400, and there it is. That's that XML they're calling. So our placeable XML is saying, go look in all these folders till you get this XML, and then do what that XML says. So then if we go to this XML that we just went through all that path to get to, right click, edit with Notepad++. Now this thing's telling the name of it, telling all the stuff about it. It's got the picture for the store, it's got all the information it needs, and then it tells it to go get the i3D. It says go to Data, Placeables, UNA, Pharma 400, Pharma 400, i3D. That also comes down here and tells it to do things. It says also, check this out. We didn't even put this in there, but it's telling it to go to Data, Placeable, Selling Station Generic, no cover. It's telling it to go get that. Okay, and it's an i3D. Okay, now I will show you, if you look on this picture, that right there, this little grate is what I just read to you. That is, let me minimize that. This little grate, let's get this open again. Alright, where are we at? Is this. That little grate is that right there, no cover. Okay, it doesn't have the lid, is what they're saying. It don't flop down over it. So that's what it's calling, that i3D. So why don't we go there and show you that i3D so you can see where it's calling it. Okay, so let's go there. We're going to go back to Pharmasim data. Then we're going to find it. Where is it? Let me look and see what it says. It's under placeable selling station generic. Okay, placeables, selling station generic, and here it is. That's the I3D they're calling. So when this right here opens up, because our placeables XML told it to go call this Pharma 400 XML, it's going to call that other I3D that we just showed you up here, the building, the silo. That's what it's going to call that one, and then it's going to call this one too, and that is this I3D. And if you open this I3D, you'll see what it is, and that's what's going to show up in your game. All right, so hang on. There you go. It's going to call that, and it's going to be right there where it should be. That's what they want. That's what they want it to do. So we're going to close it. All right. So I hope that helps you. It's calling these things. It's saying, go look in all these folders and get that thing. And now, if you go on down, it's telling it to go in data, shared, assets, marker, icons, .xml, and get the load and unload one too. So if you was to go in there, I hate to make the video too long, but it helps people understand. Why don't we try it real quick and see if we can find it. Okay, data, what does it say? Shared. Oh, I went under shaders. Data, shared, and assets right here. And what else did it say? Marker and then marker icons. So find marker and marker icons. Now it's calling the XML though. See the XML? And it's an unload and it's load and unload. It's telling it to get both. But it's calling the same XML to get that, but each one says load or unload. So you right click on this, edit with Notepad++, and it calls this information. And then this information calls this I3D. Data, shared, assets, marker icons, I3D, which tells it what to do. Unload, wrench, water, animals, explanation mark, basket, load, question mark. It gives us all that. So if we close that, well, excuse me, I should have left that open. Let me go back. Or just, well, let me see. Let's go back to it. Where is it? Right here. Let's open it up again. Well, actually, no, there's the markers. That's what I was going to show you. So let's open that. Excuse me. Alright. That's calling that. So there they are. That's what it calls. The unload, the wrench, the water, the animals, all these things. And they're all in one on that, okay? So we're going to close that, but that's what it did. That's what it does. And it tells it what to do, okay? So we're going to close out of that, but that's why it's calling all these things it needs. Each XML is doing its job, okay? So we already put the XML in our thing. We're good to go. Now, I think, did we get our numbers? Let me double check. I want to make sure. Let me find our placeables. Okay. I think we did. Looks like we did. Let's go see if that matches. Okay, 5 and then 64. 571, 64. Okay, we got them. Good. And then 0359. Okay. 0359 and then basically 0. Okay. So that's should be good. They're not exact. It is exact, but it's just more exact in here than it is in the editor, if that makes any sense. All right? That's just how they do it. Now, we got two options. We could leave that so you would see that and understand what I was talking about, or we could just go on and make it invisible. I guess I'll do both, and we'll come back. But anyway, once you get in here, you need to delete this or put it in the placeholders folder. And I'm going to put mine in the placeholders folder. If you don't have a placeholders folder, look back on my video and watch how to do it. Make one and then throw this in it. So what you do when you throw it in there is you're going to hold down the middle mouse button on the main whole group, the parent group. Hold it down. Hold down middle mouse button. Hold it down and just point your mouse up. Hold it down. Don't let go. You're just holding it down and letting the mouse drag it up. You're not clicking or rolling it. You're just holding it down. Let go of it on placeholders. It'll throw it in there. And once it does, You can open that up, make sure it's in there, right there. Alright, so you can either delete it and hit save, or put it in the placeholders folder and then hit save. Okay, and then if you want, you can put your career start point over here, click on it, hit Control B, left mouse click, and point it where you want it. Back it up a little, hit save. Okay, so it's up to you. That's gonna hide that. That placeholders folder is gonna hide this from us, so we don't have to see it in the in game. It's gonna be 2 of them in there if we don't hide it. So I've explained that quite a bit. I hope that's enough to understand it. We want to see it in here, but we don't want to see it 2 times in the game. So we called it through the XML and our placeables so that they can call it from the main game i3D and not from our map i3D to make our map file size smaller. And theirs is focused on the main game information. So we'll see it in here if we put it in the placeholders folder, but if not, then you got to delete it. Hit save. Okay? So we already hit save. Now we can go in the game and check it out. Now, we already seen that they didn't have a store item, so we're not going to worry about that, but we will check everything. So we're going to go ahead and go in and see what happens. But go ahead and smash that like button if you like these episodes and you want to see more. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate every single one of you. Channel's growing quickly and I thank you. We're going to go on to the map. And there we go. Yeah, I've got a lot more coming out, so stay tuned. Got a lot of different videos ready to go, and some I'm going to be making. So stay tuned, and hopefully we can get this map going more. And if it works out, like I said, I've not made any promises about my map, about giving it out or anything. But if it works out good and I get through, I will probably do it. But it won't be on Mod Hub. It's a 4X. But I will probably put it in, where you can get it. But we'll see. No promises. All right. So see, now you have it, and it's there. And why is it there? Because that i3 got called. We didn't even put that there in the Giants editor, but it was in that XML, and that XML put it in here. So it says it's empty, because I didn't obviously make it to have anything. And there you go, and you can adjust your ground in game. You can bring one of these in, you can bring that in, and it'll put it here, so you can adjust your ground around it, so that you have something visual to look at. But you'd have to put it like exactly where this would be to be able to tell. And then you could tell some of that needs to get knocked down. See that ground? To show those beans or whatever it looks like, coffee beans, but they're showing it as grain. But you'd have to knock that down inside your game, and you can do that, and then it would show that it's not blocks like that. That's just the rocks appearing. But anyway, there that is, and I can't really test it, but you can see. Well, in this case, it doesn't show that. As far as I know, I left it visible. So apparently, this one didn't block us. It didn't show that thing that was there, but in my other one, it did. So it depends on the scenario. Let's check our thing and see if it showed up. All right, see it's there, showed up, and see if we can visit it. Yep, it put us here. And you can see all of it, how it looks. So, but anyway, I'm not going to do any testing on it. Obviously, it's there, showing everything. It says it's empty, obviously. I don't have anything situated. I don't want to be fooling with it. I don't even have the easy developers in here. I took everything out of the folders for now. But anyway, that means the store item wasn't necessarily. So we didn't have to worry about that. Now, like I said on another episode, there's a possibility that you wouldn't be able to. Sometimes if you put it in there, it would be there, but they already have it because it is a main game XML. Let me see, this one right here. So they already have it, see? Obviously it says I don't have enough money, but that's beside the point. They already have it, so it's not necessary for me to add it to the store item. But anyway, I'm gonna call that an episode here. But I hope you enjoyed. And like I said about that, if it needed to be, if it had that cone there, let's go back out. I want to see what I did. If let's let's just show real quick before we end it. If it has that cone there, you can make it invisible. Now, let me see if I did do that. See, it's visible. So in this case, it didn't show it. Everything worked out. But in a different case, mine showed it. And that might have been just me when I first did it. I hadn't even tried anything yet. So that might have been what that was about. But it's in here. It's not showing it in game, so it should be okay. But if for some reason it showed it, there's potential that you could make some of that invisible, like I already showed you. But I'm not going to make it invisible. But if you look, that's what it would look like. And then when the grain comes out the pipe, it's going to come down like that. So it should be fine. It's not showing it in the game, so you should be all set. So it should work fine. But I can't. I'll test it later when I get everything squared away and actually do builds. This is just dirt painted. But once I get everything squared away, I'll do it. Or if I add the easy developers in here, I can cheat it in the stuff and show you. But anyway, I'm going to call that an episode. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, turn on your notification bell if you want to receive a notification every time I post a video. Goodbye, everybody.